To create your Sutori timeline, you'll be given a link on your Google Classroom in order to join my class. Once you log in with Google, you'll get to a Stories homepage. You'll click Create Story. You can choose a template for your story, or you can choose a blank one. I'm going to go to the English page, and maybe I'll do this, note-taking. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, because you'll create your own. You'll customize it. The template just might help set you up to make revisions. I'm going to write a timeline. You choose a topic or a title that goes with what you're trying to create. So whatever the assignment is for your Sutori timeline, choose a topic or a title as if you were titling your essay. You can edit and create like an introduction here. So something about what you're going to create or what your timeline is about. Something like that. Maybe you have sections. So for example, if I'm going to analyze the character of Crooks, I'll say the character of Crooks. Or I might write Crooks's identity. So I'm going to have two paragraphs. I'm going to have two paragraphs. So however you want to organize it, you can choose the organization that makes sense for what you're trying to create and what you're trying to show with your timeline. So say I have maybe one paragraph first with two pieces of evidence from two different sources, which is the minimum 2 sources per paragraph. And then I have to include my images and I have to include evidence. So whenever I want to create or add something, I can go along this timeline and click the plus sign. So I want to add here a link because I know I have to include videos, images, maybe a graph, maybe your own video of your voice recording, maybe your own face you're recording, your ideas. So I'm going to choose a YouTube just to get started. And so I've already found this video about Crooks's identity. So I wrote a paragraph about Crooks's identity, and now I have my video in there. Yikes. Say I want to add an image next. I'll go along my timeline, click the plus sign, and I want to do an image. You're going to upload it from your device, which will be your drive. I just have mine on my desktop. So I'll have an image here that goes with what I'm trying to say in that paragraph. I can add a caption. Crooks is judged by how he looks and his race. His identity can be defined as formed by others' reaction or judgments or discrimination. So I'm explaining why my picture matches what my paragraph says. There's all sorts of other things you can add. So maybe you use another, like, did you know fact, right? So did you know Crooks lives in isolation? And I can change my color to have some sort of theme. maybe I want to add some sort of quiz, or I want to add a video of myself or an audio file of me describing my ideas about Crooks's identity. Maybe I want to add a file from Drive, like a doc or a Google drawing I've created. And so you're going to go along your plus sign sort of timeline here and add what you need to add to prove your point about how your character's identity is created in this case, or what you're trying to prove for your thesis. So you'll also need somewhere in here perhaps an audio file of you saying your thesis, right? What you need to have a thesis, you need to have 2 paragraphs with 2 quotes each, you need to have multimedia, so YouTube or links to articles, you can have images with captions, you can voice record your thesis or some parts of your evidence or your explanations, you can have a caption to those, you can have a Spotify playlist that would make sure that like it could define who your character is. So maybe I want to have 2 sections. Crooks's identity is formed on by others or external forces. So maybe I have my sections, and then I'll have perhaps another section here, heading, and I could say something like Crooks' identity is formed by choices. So then I have my second section with another paragraph and more ideas, maybe a voice recording, a video, an image. At least 2 paragraphs with 2 quotes each need to be involved in your timeline. You also can change your theme. You can make sure, you can change this like sort of heading up here to be a heading that sort of relates to what you're talking about. There's stock images, or you can download an image to represent what you're talking about or what you will present in your timeline. So think about this interactive timeline as your project or your essay, but in a really interesting multimedia sort of visual presentation. It should have all the features of a synthesis, right? Where you have paragraphs, where you have academic language, you have evidence, there's transitions maybe in your headings, but it's interactive and interesting, adding more depth to your presentation of your evidence and analysis. Thank you.